version of the Bible, which, if you're gonna call your show The Bible, you better have more Bible in it than what they actually had. Just saying. A little presumptuous to call your show The Bible when you're making all that stuff up. So yes, I do agree with the Pharisees. The Pharisees were not bad guys. The Pharisees were not. The Pharisees were doing the best they knew how to do. They did. Jesus says that they put a heavy burden on the people, but they were very devout. Making their way the only way they knew how. Making their way the only way they know how. Sorry, I got sidetracked there a little bit. Oh, thank you, Nightbot. So I am playing around with some ideas on a little contest on how people can put their names in a hat in order to be drawn in to this comic, so you can be comic book famous. So you can show all your friends that you're in this book. So, working on a contest. Maybe I shouldn't even say anything until it's figured out. But stay tuned. So I was talking about The Chosen. I was very impressed with how they bring the Bible to life, how they bring the Bible, make it personable, like you can read about the miracles. But as soon as you understand that Peter had to pay taxes and he could have lost his house, and this is conjecture, but it's not so far off from the truth that this could have been the case, right? And these miracles actually meant something very real to these people's lives. It's one thing to have head knowledge, but it's another thing to experience it with your heart. If I have knowledge, I can't quote it directly, but if I have knowledge and not love, I'm nothing more than a clanging gong, is what Paul says in, I'm trying to quote 1 Corinthians. So sorry for being so late coming onto the boat of the Chosen. Not only am I watching The Chosen, but the Bema podcast is the whole reason I started watching The Chosen is because the Bema podcast, I'm in session number 6 right now, and they're talking about The Chosen. So in order to listen to them talk about The Chosen, I have to actually have watched The Chosen. So then I got my wife hooked on The Chosen. So what I'm learning recently is about Shabbat, about the customs of Shabbat. How the Proverbs 31 is not, hold on. Proverbs 31 is not only a way to find a virtuous woman, but it's also how you encourage your wives when they've done all the work of putting together Shabbat, right? When nobody else is supposed to work, and your wife is doing all this cooking. And preparation. I was moved by in that episode, I was moved by Matthew having his Shabbat dinner with a dog rather than having it with any people because the people cast him out because he's a tax collector. And then he keeps the dog. So a lot of these episodes that I thought were throwaway, the reason that I had no patience for the Chosen in my previous effort was because of all this characterization. But you need the characterization in order to feel something for these characters when something actually happens.